we've interviewed Matt Riddle several times, who says that in his opinion, you're ducking him. How do you respond to that?
A good friend of mine personally, and I'm kind of, by the way, the Bubba the Love Sponge show, Friday, July 19th, 2024. And my next guest is, I kind of got lucky with my next guest in that I kind of caught him before he got his lightning bolt. I caught him while he was on the NXT program and wasn't, people that really, really are into wrestling, they're familiar with the NXT guys. But for the most part, NXT...
We knew the bro. You just didn't know the bro.
Exactly. The hardcore wrestling fans knew the bro. But most mainstream wrestling fans usually aren't as hardcore where they know the guys that are developing. They just see the people that are coming to their town on one particular night or who's getting pushed on TV. And I actually had the distinct honor of getting to know and become friends with Matt Riddle before he hit that big WWE Raw were you on SmackDown or Raw?
I was mostly on Raw, but I was on SmackDown for one season, then Raw 2 seasons.
Right. But we caught you before all of that, before you really became a huge superstar, and it was so cool to watch your push, especially the Orton push. I thought that was really done well. Too bad Randy got hurt. But, where do you think they were going? Where were they going with you before? Obviously, I think you'd still be with WWE had Vince not sold or WWE and the stock or whoever had merged with Dana White's company. I think you were in their plans to be a big-time superstar. You were going to be a Chris Jericho. You were going to be a CM Punk. You were going to be that guy, I think, until the merger happens.
Yeah, the merger probably didn't help me out or do me any favors, especially merging with the UFC. Even though it's TKO got ownership of the UFC and then kind of bought into WWE, and I don't think that helped me out. But I think the writing was on the wall, too. I mean, I feel like once Randy got hurt and got out of we weren't teaming as much anymore or doing the RK Bro stuff, the attitude towards me from the boys? No, the boys love me.
I can see where the boys love you.
I still talk to all the boys.
Because, you're just a dude. The only guy that had heat with you was Goldberg, and that was just because he's insecure in his own skin because he knows shoot style. He knows Goldberg knows shoot style, and you can confirm it right now. I know Bill Goldberg. I've met Goldberg. I've hung out with him, and he's not nearly as tough as he thinks he is. Jericho backed him down one time in the locker room, and Goldberg knows deep in his little peanut head that shoot style, you'd kill him.
I would say
you'd kill him.
Majority of people in sports entertainment know I'd kill them, let alone William Goldberg.
Right.
He knows.
And he got real heat with you because, you were just being a bro. You were over in the locker room, and he's kind of, I think in the locker room considered kind of the pampered old timers that really didn't know how to work, and they kind of handed him this whole big industry. And the boys kind of think that about him. So when he started stuff with you, the boys are with you, man.
The boys were definitely with me, and Bill has a history of kind of doing what Bill does.
Being a bully.
Yeah. And even when...
when you didn't put over his bully gimmick and were ready to back it up shoot style, that's what freaked him out.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't want to knock Bill, the character, Bill Goldberg.
Sure,
I get it. I understand the value of it. And he understands it too.
When Bill gets out of the ring and you guys are in the Sallyport walking, to your your rental cars or whatever the hell you're doing, and he gets heat with you out there, not scripted or anything like that. He's legitimately he knows you can kick his ass shoot style.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys, especially wrestlers, that get a push at that level when they run into somebody like me and they know they can't hang with me. I mean, in the ring they can, in a WWE ring.
Sure.
But
in the ring they'll bury you.
When it comes to the street or a cage or a ring of combat sports, they kind of know they don't have a chance.
It was kind of like the Kurt Angle effect back in the day. Like, you'd be working Kurt, but if Kurt decided to turn this into a shoot, you're done.
Yeah.
Right?
And the thing is, like, I don't know why, you're in the business of wrestling. We already talk crap about each other all the time.
Right.
But for some reason, and Bill wasn't the only one. There's other guys, even like Roman. I did a promo. They asked me to mention the bloodline, and I said I'd beat the crap out of them, especially out in the street,
Did that get you real heat?
Yeah, oh, dude, Roman wouldn't talk to me for like a month or so, and I was
so
like...
would you go, and were you broing him too? Like, you go like, bro, I was just cutting a promo, bro.
I always am. I mean, the one time...
So, like, to give me kind of a reenactment of what your first conversation with Roman was when you shot a promo on him. Tell us what you said.
Well, the promo was, RK Bro was killing it, and the guy that set up the interview beforehand was like, hey, mention how RK Bro's killing it in merchandise and how you guys are the best team and how you're better than the Bloodline, because me and Randy and myself were feuding with, the Bloodline.
Right, sure.
So I'm talking trash, said how RK Bro's selling more t-shirts than
even
anybody.
got into the merchandising numbers and the whole 9 yards,
and
right?
I go, if we get down to it, if we're in a cage or a ring, I'd beat the brakes off everybody in the Bloodline. There's nothing anybody can do, but I don't care if you're the tribal chief or whatever. Now,
if we're going shoot there, Roman, bitch, I got you, right?
And then Randy, because now Roman's mad at me, he sends me a text, and he's like, that was like unprofessional, this and that. And I was
hold on, you get a pre-text from Roman.
Yes. And then I was like, oh, man. And then I go, I should probably apologize. So I write an apology, being like, my bad. I was kind of told to talk trash. I didn't mean to cross the line by saying I could beat you up in real life.
All right, so you baby faced off on it, right?
I was going to.
And
then I showed the text to Randy, and Randy's
and then Randy ribbed you.
Oh,
Randy ribbed you.
Randy goes, oh, nah, dude, Roman's not going to they don't want to talk to him like that. And then Randy gave me a different kind of apology where I never apologized.
You just kind of
non-apology
It
apology.
was a very Randy apology,
right?
So then when I sent that to him,
oh God,
Roman
Matt,
got angry.
You should have sent. You should have sent the first instinctual one because it was so golden.
That, it would have been completely fine.
Because it was straight golden, right? It was just like, I'm sorry, bro.
Oh yeah, it's like, my bad, dude. Won't happen again.
Right.
Randy was like,
Randy
hey,
rewrites
man.
it.
Randy's like, things happen. Hopefully we can work in the future. And I'm like, are you
Things
sure?
happen, when you're cutting a promo. Sometimes it gets away from you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
The next time I see Roman, we're doing the live events. This is like right when we're coming back from COVID.
Right.
And
you see him.
I see him in the hallway. I'm like, what's up, Roman? Hi, bro. And he doesn't say a word to me, walks by.
No.
And then I'm like, oh, this is awkward. And then all of a sudden, like,
now, are you on your scooter at this point?
I am rocking the
you
scooter.
The scooter automatically takes a little bit of anybody's
diffuser.
It automatically takes a little bit of edge of that madness because it's so cool that I got a surfer dude that's on a scooter with flip-flops trying to apologize to me. I mean, it's a good look. It really is.
And then, but all that happened was the first time after we were walking past each other, he didn't respond. And then about 5 or 10 steps away, I heard him call me a bitch. And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Man, you can't put me out like that.
Yeah,
I got to do something about that.
And I'm like, I'm right here, and he keeps walking. And then the next day, he does it again. And I'm just like, this time, I'm like, bro, come on, dude. This is not a big deal. And then probably
this is face to face, right?
This is face to face.
So the second day he bitched you, you're like, bro, come on, man.
Come on, dude. I'm right here. Don't be calling me a bitch and walking away.
I said I was sorry.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I really
I
did.
sort of said I was sorry.
Yeah, I would have said I was sorry. But
so you're still playing the Randy Orton card.
Well, yeah.
You got the Randy Orton angle still kicking.
You can't. You know, once you agree to that text and you send it, I double down.
So many head games play in the WWE, right? All right, so that's second time.
So second time, and then we record, and then by default, because RK Bro was doing so well, I eventually had to work with Roman, and we did some tag matches, but then we did our singles match for the title on SmackDown.
How bad he spud you?
He didn't at all. After that, we were good. He enjoyed working with me.
Did you put him over in the singles?
Sure, for sure. He was the champ.
That's right. He hasn't lost in 54 years.
He eventually lost to Cody.
I know. He just lost recently because he wanted to spend some time with his family. It's like, I can't take being the champion much longer, man. I need some time off the road. Let me drop the strap to Cody.
Yeah, well, good for him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I think that's another thing. I think with a guy like Goldberg or Roman in this sense, and I don't have anything against him, but I feel like when you're booked a certain way in professional wrestling, you start to believe the hype.
Well, I mean, look at Hogan.
Hogan, honestly, he killed it the other day. You can see he's still got a promo in him.
I know he does.
He cut a 71-year-old
I mean,
promo.
hold on now, hold on. I mean,
you
you truly appreciate being in the business. You truly appreciate a good promo, don't you?
Dude.
So when you see a 70-year-old go out and roll out a grade A promo, I mean, as a young dude, man, you gotta be like, man, you know, that's goat-like stuff, right?
Dude, I don't watch. I don't get into politics. That's just not my forte. That's not my strength. But I did take a glance at the Republican, what have you, and saw Hogan do that speech for Trump, and it was pretty remarkable.
It was quite something, wasn't it, man?
He's like, you took a shot at the next president.
My hero.
Trump will be my hero. Then rips out the shirt. And my favorite part, I mean, that promo was good, but seeing Trump just so happy, just like Hulk Hogan is cutting a promo for me.
Yeah, I mean, hold on,
president.
But hold on,
The guy was just
let's not
loving
forget.
everything. And I would too. If Hulk Hogan was be like, Matt Riddle for president and rip the T-shirt off, I would be like, this is it.
This is cool.
This is it.
Hold on now.
Hogan's here,
But
dude.
hold on. Here's the deal. Hogan did great. He did great. But man, kids rock. Like everybody, you appreciate a good entrance, gimmick. I mean, you do. I mean, in the business that you are, an entrance, song is the way the business is done. Everybody's got an entrance song, and like back in the day when you hear the bells and it was the Undertaker. I mean, the crowd would just go crazy, right?
Yeah.
Or they'd hear "Sexy Boy" with Shawn Michaels, or they would, hear Hogan's music, or some of the iconic music that you've heard over the years. Remember when the Y2J, you'd hear the glass break, and that was
Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But
Stone
the
Cold.
Y2J was the countdown clock. But
Yeah,
it's still.
Deet. Well, Kid Rock, by entrance standards, entrance music. Did you see his entrance last night?
I did not see
Watch
Kid Rock's
this.
entrance.
You
Yeah,
being
sure.
an entrance connoisseur. Ready?
I'm ready.
Watch how badass this is. Tears the house down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kid Rock.
What up, America? If you're ready for President Trump to take the stage, I need everybody to stand up. I need everybody to put a fist up in the air. Everybody.
It feels like the
Fist
Rock.
up in the air.
It feels like the Rock
Yeah,
almost.
Get a fist up in the air.
That's the Trump right there.
Now follow me. Say fight, fight.
Yeah.
Say fight, fight.
Look at the backdrop behind him. I mean, look at that $1 million backdrop behind him. Full pyro.
Fight, fight.
So good.
Now somebody scream.
Matt, you being an entrance is that not badass?
It's super badass. You know what my thing is, though? You ever see that movie, Idiocracy?
Yes. Yes.
Son of a bitch. I feel like we are so
We're
on
living
the fast track.
we're living that life right now.
And I would
We got
be
professional wrestlers and rap artists that are introducing the next. Remember in Idiocracy, they had monster truck shows for the
Dude,
presidents. Remember?
Dude, I remember, and I feel like I don't know if we're all the way there yet.
Well, we're close.
We're way too
We
close.
got pro wrestlers and Kid Rock, with a Dana White kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dana
dude.
White did
Dana
awesome.
White, yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Dana White, Tucker Carlson, Kid Rock, Hogan, and then Trump came on. So this is something I think that you've seen that the people are not too familiar with. And Rhett and Gary went to the Jake Paul, Mike Perry press. Well, this was the weigh-in.
No,
Now-
the weigh-in's today, I
I'm
think.
sorry,
or
tomorrow,
tomorrow,
Wins
whatever.
today.
This is just
Yeah.
a press conference.
So we get in, and Jake Paul and Mike Perry are there answering questions. Wow, what a nice production. Look at the production value.
Emily.
That is nice.
They do
Jake Paul
good.
knows how to put on a show for sure.
Oof. So, Jake Paul, to give you some history, I think Matt, you have publicly sent the word out, or even put on social media that you would love to. Jake Paul needs to pick you if he's trying to find these badass people for him to beat down with his next opponent, supposedly after this one being Mike Tyson. Matt Riddle's like, hey, bro, pick me. Just pick me.
Yeah.
I'll take, I don't know, small payday, big, give me my full-blown merchandise sales and a small payday, bitch. I'm there.
Yeah, I would probably do it for free at this point.
I'll
you
beat
know,
your ass
just-
for free.
Just to get back in the ring and put some beats on them.
You've thrown it out
I've
there.
thrown it out there. I've talked to people. I mean, I know his brother. They send me Prime all the time. I mean, thank you for the Prime. That's why when he said he didn't know who I was, I'm like, dude, I wrestled with your brother in WWE. I've seen you before. We've talked. I've been on Impulsive. I'm like, I've rubbed enough shoulders. Where, like, I'm pretty sure. But then
I
again,
love the way the bro describes things, don't you, man?
But then again, Goldberg was the same way. I remember Goldberg getting interviewed and be like, oh, I don't know who that guy is. And it's like, dude, you know who I am. I ruffled your feathers. It's a thing. And I think with Jake Paul, it's been thrown out to him multiple times. He's declined it multiple times. And I mean, he can do that. But at the end of the day, I think it's like, I'm pretty big. I'm like 6'2". I weigh 210.
That's about what he is.
And I fought in the UFC, and I didn't leave the UFC getting beat up. I left the UFC beating people up, And then I went into the world of professional wrestling and
Did well there.
Yeah, did very well and punked out basically all the big guys there too.
And one of the reasons why he's still not a pro wrestler is because shoot style, the guys can't beat him up, so they're afraid of him.
Yeah,
I mean, they're afraid.
Yeah.
They cannot intimidate him, because at the end of the day, man, if you want to take it out to the parking lot, we can. It's not gonna work out good for you.
Also, I don't know the logistics of the Paul fights, but I went to his one of the boxing matches in Orlando. Not the latest one, but the one prior to that.
The one before that one, yeah.
And
you got a chance to sign. I mean, you watched it firsthand.
I watched it firsthand, but the thing is, I feel like the fights he usually picks, there's a size difference. Like, he usually has quite the reach on his opponent. And
So that's what
size.
this with him and Mike Perry.
And with Mike Perry, the same. The difference is, I'd put money on Mike Perry if I was anybody, because Mike Perry's mean. I mean, he fought Luke Rockhold.
But Jake Paul, Mike Perry's laying down doing a job.
Possibly.
That's what I think this all is. I think people lay down and do jobs. They say, hey, listen, if you beat Jake, you make $500,000. If you don't beat Jake, you make $3 million. Go ahead and decide what you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the possibility.
I think it is.
I don't know. I never made it far enough to get a contract or anything like that with him, not because he doesn't want to fight. But it's very possible. I personally think a lot of the guys...
Would you do a job?
I mean, I already did the job in pro wrestling. If he wants me to take a dive, I can wrestle. I'm
just saying, if he said, hey, listen, $1 million if you beat me, and $6 million if you let me beat you, like in the fight. It's a real big whodunit. It's close, and I get the decision.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it would go. I don't think you would want that. Plus, I have this.
I think that's how it goes.
I think maybe, but I think the problem with somebody like me, and probably why I haven't been given the opportunity, is because I just have too much pride. Like, it's really hard for me. It's one thing in pro wrestling. That's part of the job.
You're mean.
But
deep down, you're kind of mean, aren't you?
You don't fight in a steel cage. You don't go out of your way to fight professionally unless you're a little mean.
Yeah, you are mean. Like, you're that dog that you could turn on you.
He'd be like Brad Pitt in Snatch. He wouldn't throw the fight. He'd knock the guy out and kill him.
But you know what?
Perfect example of me fighting Jake Paul. It'd be a Snatch-like scenario where they probably want me to take a dive. I probably said I would take a dive,
and then throw.
they put the beats on.
Here's what
Bruce
you,
Willis
hold
in
on.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I
Same
can't help
deal.
it.
Knowing how much of an F up you are, here's how your Jake Paul experience goes, okay? This is because I know how.
This could go a lot of different ways,
Because I know,
Bubba.
no, I'm going to give you my Bubba McMahon my prediction, okay?
Bubba McMahon.
Yeah, just knowing you that you got a hair trigger, that you're just a wild man, but you at the end of the day, man, you self-medicate, you keep yourself, just really chill. You got the bro technique, but I've watched you at the gym kick the heavy bag, and I saw you with your shirt off, and I was like, God dang, that guy's a stud. And then I took a pair of boxing gloves, and you said, go ahead, bro, hit me in the side as hard as you could. So literally, I took a pair of boxing gloves just to show how strong his core is and stuff. And I threw it with my little T-Rex arms. I threw as hard as I could. And he's like, okay, bro, now I get to hit you. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're not doing that.
I didn't hit you, though.
No, you didn't. He didn't. But I just know how you're wired. And sometimes you lose it and you mess up a really good thing sometimes.
Yeah, well, I'd say,
It's because your internal meanness comes through. You're a street yard, junkyard dog. And so here's what happened. You'd sign this big deal with Jake Paul, and you're Johnny Bro, cool dude. And the deal is, okay, listen, it's $1 million if you win. If you lose, it's $6 million. $6 million if you lose. We'll make it real close. But it's you get fined $250,000 if you knock him out. So you'd go in there and he would just irritate you, and inside your little head, you're like, oh my God, I'm doing a job for a guy. There's no way. Deep down on the streets, I'd whip this guy's ass. I feel like, and then you'd start having some kind of internal fight in your little head, and then you'd knock the guy out or choke him out or just do something, and you'd have to write him they sue you for $250,000.
Well, that's the other thing with the Pauls. Logan fought Dylan Danis not too long ago. And Dylan, I used to train him in jiu-jitsu when he was younger, when he was growing up and I was in the UFC, and they fought, and Dylan did a really good job of talking trash and brought up Logan's girl and just brought a lot of drama and controversy into the fight. I mean, I bought the fight just because of that, Just
because of the drama.
And that was probably the highest sold pay-per-view the Paul brothers
you can
have
imagine
done.
that. See, you know how to work. So you could really get with Jake and get a real good pre-gimmick going on. You just knowing how to work. Maybe even get some hardway juice. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, that's always a possibility. I don't get juice. I don't gig. I don't do that.
Oh,
if I get split up,
it's hardway.
It's always hardway.
Yeah. Well, you just know it's coming. Jake's gonna lay a spud on you, on your upper forehead.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some juice. Man, I can't even tell you the last time that I saw a promotion promoting a fight and somebody got juice. Right?
Well, I think the last time was Logan Paul versus Dylan Danis. Dylan Danis at the press conference cracked Logan with a microphone and split his head open.
And so there was juice.
There was a little bit of juice.
And that made you want to buy the damn thing, did it not?
Dude, of course.
Dude. So what I'm saying, if Logan Paul takes a microphone, you know it's coming. He spuds you in the head. We got you highly medicated so you don't flip out. You do a job for him on the press conference. That's like an extra, fast talking Daniel Rose will get all this locked up in the contract. And fast talking Daniel Rose will. Fast talking Daniel Rose would be like, he'd already have a contract that said, like, if you got hardway juice at the press conference, it's an extra $750. So like you got $750 for just doing the juice job right there.
I mean, if these are real numbers we're getting,
we're getting juice,
possible.
man.
I don't think that's happening. And I also say with like a Jake Paul, and I think the big thing is this: when you're an up and coming fighter, you don't really get to pick your fights. When you're a millionaire and YouTube star and Disney star that decides to be a pro boxer,
you can do whatever you want.
And he has shown it, and he's done it. He picks his fights. He's smart at picking them.
Yep.
Even when he's fought Anderson Silva.
Yeah. Past his prime.
Oh,
yeah,
way past
Anderson
his prime.
was like 66.
Not saying any of us would beat Anderson Silva, but at the same time.
What about you and Anderson MMA? Would you beat him? Just because he's older than...
I think now, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm beast mode right now. I'm like 38 years old, but I'm a late bloomer, so I feel like I'm like in my prime.
All right, so here, listen. So
I'm
here,
just as strong and fast as ever.
you
and
look as mean as ever. Your
He doesn't
core
look
looks
38.
strong.
He
Yeah,
looks 28. I mean, honestly.
more wild than you
I do
used to
what I
be.
can.
You're
Yeah,
mean
man.
as hell.
Riddle, what's your reach?
Well, it was 77, 78.
Okay, so you have a better reach than Jake.
Yeah, I
Okay.
got a crazy reach. That's why even
That
when I
rules
fought in
you
the
out.
UFC, I always had a reach on people.
And I don't think anybody could really, because you're so damn mean. I don't know if anybody could just knock you out or not. I mean,
Well,
it looks like you got a real white trash jaw on you.
I
You know what I'm
do
saying?
have, my facial hair grows in naturally white trashy like this, like Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I'll say this, I wasn't necessarily the best striker when I fought, but I definitely had a serious chin on me. And when you can hit really hard and you got a chin, it's really dangerous for most people to deal with. Most people, you know, even if they hit hard, if you hit them hard, they go down. But if you can hit hard and don't go down,
And got a good chin on you?
especially with boxing gloves on.
Actually having
maybe.
having a better chin than a jab is more advantageous in boxing than vice versa. If you got a bad chin, you're done. You can't go anywhere in the business.
Dude, if you can't take body shots or get hit in the head, you can't box.
All right, here is Gary Cantrell, the Gary Cantrell, who's been working with Rhett, and they go, what a great question. This is so good. So this is just so good. It creates so much heat. It's gonna get Matt so mad. This is so good. Here it is. This is from yesterday's press conference. Thank you, Rhett, and thank you, Gary.
Gary Cantrell, Bubba the Love Sponge Show. My question is for Jake.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. Matt he even sets it up right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's my man.
Oh, dude,
Gary
you killed
Cantrell,
it.
Bubba the Love Sponge Show. My question is for Jake. On the topic of guys not wanting to fight you, we've interviewed Matt Riddle several times, who says that in his opinion, you're ducking him. How do you respond to that?
Perfect question, wasn't it, Matt?
Perfect.
It was a great question.
Listen.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
You're gonna make Matt mad.
Come
That's
on, man.
Hold on. He's really jobbing you out, my friend.
dude, you know, I feel like people do this when they're slightly insecure. Like I said, like Goldberg, or when they also know what the outcome's most likely.
Right. They
gonna
play
be.
the I don't know card when they know that you would kill them.
Like we've seen each other in person.
Like,
It's hard to forget this
Hold on
guy
here.
and not know who he is. You know what I mean? It's like the name and the persona. It's like, of course you know who he is.
Says that in his opinion, you're ducking him. How do you respond to that?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, thank you.
He's a former WWE superstar.
Yeah. Somebody.
Ariel Helwani's
Yeah,
got. I've been on the MMA hour and stuff.
right.
You know?
Yeah. So
Ariel's
hold on.
got my back.
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
this guy has your back. Here, let me just stick it here. The guy has your back. I love it.
That?
I don't know who that is.
Okay, thank you.
He cleaned up
He's
the
a,
awkwardness.
All right, hold on.
Former WWE superstar, former UFC fighter, the Super King of Bros.
Sounds like somebody wants a payday.
Like I said, I'd do it for free.
Hold on. So that's how you combat that. Be like, hey, you know what kind of payday I want? Just whatever merchandise that I sell.
Yeah, I
it.
don't even care about that. You know.
Well, no. Daniel Rose ain't gonna let you cut that deal, buddy. Come on.
I look at it like
we gotta get
this.
merch, Matt. Come on.
But let's just put it this way: I'm confident enough in beating Jake Paul in a fight, regardless if it's boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts, that I would forfeit all my money because I know just knocking him out or beating him up is worth more than any amount of money I could get.
I mean, the marketing and you being the guy that really finally showed this guy the business.
Yeah.
Right? Because he always, to me, man, he always fights bums. Not bums in the fact that they're bums, but they're way older than they've already timed out on their career.
Like
and
I
they're,
said.
and they're kind of, they're like, you know, when boxing Anderson Silva, boxing and striking wasn't Anderson's. He was, you know, he needed to get you on the ground in order. That's what he did.
Yeah, Anderson he's really good at Muay Thai, but boxing's definitely different than Muay Thai and definitely different than mixed martial arts, you know? And I'll say that there's one thing. When you're 24, 25, if you're in your mid-20s, dude, when I was in my early 20s, you could hit me with a brick and I would just keep coming at you. And I didn't care, you know? Yeah. Also, the other thing, you got to realize, once you get to a certain level of wealth, the training you can pay for. I think a lot of people knock Jake, but at the same time, he's probably way better than a lot of people think because he can pay the best trainers in the world. He can pay the best sparring partners in the world.
Best nutrition.
He can pay the best nutritionist, the best strength and conditioning coach, and he doesn't want to lose. And this is the other thing.
How important is all that back
end?
It's
all super important. I remember when I was in the UFC, I didn't have trainers half the time because I couldn't afford it because they weren't paying me enough. So it's like, and then like guys like GSP back in the day, there was like leaps and bounds in between the division, but it's like because GSP gets paid millions of dollars and gets points on pay-per-views.
He had a full blown employee roster of doing everything for him.
The guy had everything. He even had a special guy with a special IV to hook him up before fights. And I remember because I would get IVs after weigh-ins, before fights. And I remember I got one, and the guy that did it for me did GSP before me. And I go, oh, what does GSP take? And he's like, oh, he's on something else. And I had vitamins. I had a Merrill's cocktail. I had like niacin and all the.
So, but you didn't have the. You didn't have the Jesus juice that GSP did. He had like 5 extra add-ons, didn't he?
Bro, and the thing is, if you ever watch GSP fight, 25 minutes against another high-level guy. Not saying he didn't train harder. He wasn't ready. He was ready, but I think he had a little extra. I wouldn't say juice or steroids or whatever. I'm not going to say that.
You got the jobber juice. And he got the Jesus juice.
I definitely got the discount IV bag, and he got
the Dollar General.
Yeah,
and he got the Louis Vuitton.
Correct, and it showed, and it definitely showed in his fights. The guy was a beast.
I got to do some words. We're going to come back with Matt Riddle. There's so much to talk about with him. I want to get into the bare knuckle fighting stuff with you.
Oh man,
is that where you might be headed?
Well, right now the professional wrestling's great, but
you're doing independent stuff, right?
Yeah, I'm doing the independent stuff, and I stay so busy. If anything, too busy. I double book myself all the time and everything else like that. But the money's right,
So the money now is the independent circle. Is the money pretty good?
Well, I'll say this for somebody like me. Yes, I wasn't just a guy that was in WWE or a guy that was just in NXT. You
were over.
I was at multiple times. Well, funny with that is Randy. I would say we were over, and I was over. Randy would say we weren't over. I remember one time I go to Randy and go, hey, Randy, we're super over. He goes, no.
How can Randy? That's Randy's just ribbing you.
Hold on. Randy goes, we're not over. I'm like, what do you mean, man? You hear that crowd? We're selling merch more than anybody else? Come on, dude. He goes, Hulk Hogan was over.
Yeah, but
The Rock is over.
At that time,
Stone Cold is over.
You know what he's doing though? At that point,
we're not over.
He at that point is just trying to make sure that a Green Frog rookie doesn't get too full of himself, and he realizes, he wouldn't even be working the program with you if you guys weren't over. He's not going to be part of a program that's not over. He's Randy Orton.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Randy's smart. He knows what he's doing, especially when it comes to sports entertainment.
And and God, just by hand, he is one hell of a hand. He really knows how to work. He really knows the philosophy. He's a good worker. He takes care of his guys out there. He's not stiff. He's got a reputation, I think, among the boys of being, really does the right thing. Does he run the locker room now that Taker's gone?
I would say, the landscape in WWE is probably none of the boys are allowed to run the locker room.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
See, remember back in the day, Taker ran the locker room.
Yeah, but I think, it's more like high school.
It's like a bunch of little snowflake bitches now instead of real men that are worried about getting to the next city and doubling up on a rental car.
Yeah, it's definitely different. The locker room's definitely changed.
Man, back in the day, Taker, they'd have wrestler court. And they would have wrestler court, and Taker would be like, "That's going to cost you 2 12 packs, and $50."
Yeah, that would be great. I feel like now people just complain and go to management.
Bunch of little bitches.
Yeah, and bellyache.
Sometimes the boys got to handle the business in the back.
Well,
sometimes.
I think with somebody like me, example, you want to handle business in the back with me, you might have your hands full.
But when Triple H would walk through, would that be like, oh man?
No, Triple H is one of the boys, too.
He's one of the boys, but he's also high-level management.
He really is. I mean, you don't want to say the wrong thing to him.
Right.
He's definitely, He's definitely put himself in a position of power.
Yeah,
one way or another, with
Yeah.
his work or with his.
Well, his work was minimal at best, but boy, man, he certainly knew how to play the game. Didn't
he is the game.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Hey, I got to do words. Matt Riddle, formerly from UFC, formerly from WWE. Just an overall badass, shoot style.
A lot of formers. You know, I've done it all.
Hey,
a lot of formers.
Were people messing with you for doing that birthday party?
You know,
were they jobbing you?
At first, people were, but to be fair, that birthday party was dope. I literally just flew from Mexico City. I wrestled for AAA down in Mexico City. Thousands of people there, sold out arena.
Good payday.
Great payday. They treat me like, dude. Like I was saying, on the indies, it's hard to pick up a fight right now because I make so much money on the indies and with meet and greets and stuff. Where it's hard.
So you go over in Mexico, and I got to think when a promoter's bringing you in, Matt Riddle's not doing jobs. I'm just telling you that right now. Matt Riddle, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I do the job, you gotta spice it up. We're gonna have to hit me with a low blow, some outside interference,
right? Double DQ, Willie. You know,
you're gonna have to.
You're not doing one clean in the middle. It's gonna be an F job, screw job, last minute Willie, and it's probably gonna cost the promoter a little bit more for you to job.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to do that. I have my rate. And I also make my rate affordable in the sense I know my value from streaming purposes, online content, and then just from how many tickets I'm going to sell or the meet and greet you're going to sell.
Right.
And I do that accordingly. So I wrestle for AAA down in Mexico, and then I fly up to LA from Mexico City, and I do a birthday party. Now, when I got there, or before I got there, they go, hey, would you do a special needs birthday party for a kid? And I'm like, you know, normally I wouldn't do a random birthday party, but for a special needs kid and everything. And it wasn't on a day I was already booked. It was very convenient. Also, I thought Mexico City was a lot closer to LA. I was very.
He said, I thought it was a 3-hour flight, and it was a 7-hour flight.
Oh, bro, it was 8 hours of flight. Yeah. It was 4 hours and 4 hours, and I was like, what the hell, dude? But then I get there. And if I recall correctly, I believe the birthday boy's name was Terry.
Right.
And when I get there, there's a cardboard cutout of the birthday boy. And Terry definitely has some special needs. He's a good guy, but he's definitely no kid. Terry's 30 years old.
Okay, all right.
So it was just doing Terry's birthday party. But dude, we were at this sick mansion out in Cali. They had a legit ring. I'm not knocking.
I sent you the video, Bubba.
Don't want to knock Mexico, but the ring was like a brand new high spots ring. It was a good ring. Best ring I worked in all weekend. You know? And then, like I said, the family was awesome. There's other people of special needs and everything. And it was sick. That's just part of the backyard.
Now, when they said they had a ring, did you do like a high spot for him, or did you put Terry over? Like, what was the gimmick?
Bro,
show it here.
If you know me, if I'm wrestling, I don't dial it in. I don't care if it's a birthday party. I don't care if it's WrestleMania.
I don't care if it's for a special needs kid. Yeah, I'm hardcore, buddy.
If you pay my rate and fly me in,
I'm doing a job.
I'm going hard. Right. I'm gonna make sure. There's Terry in the red.
Oh, that's Terry in the red?
Terry's in the red.
It's Terrence.
Terrence.
I was calling him Terry. He didn't mind.
There he is right there. Looks like a regular able-bodied man to me.
Dude, I think so. You guys are stallion. But yeah, dude. They kept my flip-flops. But
they kept your flip-flops?
They gave me a different pair of flip-flops to wear home because they wanted the signature King of Bros.
I mean, if they're paying their rate, they keep the flip-flops.
I figured you pay my rate to come to a birthday party.
And they had replacement Willies ready to go.
Ready to go.
Right.
And they fed me.
Yeah.
They had a bartender.
Yeah. Right.
They
got you new flip-flops and paid, hold on, most importantly, paid your rate.
Up front.
Paid my rate. And everybody was respectful and nice. But since then, funny enough, I've been hit up.
For birthday parties.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
I mean, hold on, brother. That's easy money.
Dude.
Bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, birthday parties. Dude, are you kidding me?
The bar mitzvahs are big, too.
Yeah. Was it that dude's dad that paid?
Hold on, let me see.
Who paid for the party?
I have no idea.
That guy's got special needs.
Yeah.
The one with the ball. Yeah.
Matt Riddle's ass cheeks are hanging out.
I know.
Swear to God.
He's got lower cheek exposure.
That's a $7,000 ring right there. I'm telling you that right now.
It's unreal.
Is a beautiful ring, isn't it?
Brand new turnbuckles. VWC, a show out in Cali set this up.
Who's this jobber?
No, is this like his uncle or something?
I don't know any relations, a family. I don't know if they're just friends.
They just kicked his flip-flops off.
And you haven't even called, like, do you even have an idea where you're going with it? Like, have you called the match at all?
Oh, this match, yeah, I called bits and pieces, but at the same time, when you're working a birthday party like
you're
this,
just gonna do it clean right there.
Dude,
1, 2, 3
with the gazebo.
Yeah.
I
mean, you let the guy get a good one in on you because he's got the gazebo right there, buddy. He's feeding you all day long. He's got you all the liquor that you need, and more importantly, he paid my rate.
Best part about it is during the match, I bring my opponent out to Terrence to give him a chop.
Oh, really?
And let's just say Terrence goes like this, looks at his fist, shakes no, and then proceeds to potato this guy right in the face.
So he did the Hulk Hogan, hell no. Hell no.
I let go of my opponent because I was holding both his arms back. So he had to take one right on the dome. And I was like, oh, and then Terry's like shaking his hand because his fist hurt.
He's not a little guy.
But I got to tell you, man.
He's a big boy.
Somebody close to him knew that he was a big Matt Riddle fan, and they got a hold of you, and they put together. I mean, that ring was probably $4 or $5 grand, or at least $1,000 to rent from some kind of ring deal. Your rate, they went all out.
And there was other matches on the show. I wasn't like the only attraction. They had a couple others.
Other wrestlers.
Yeah, not at the same caliber, but
right.
Definitely the local scene in California. Yeah,
Texas Hangman, things like that.
Stuff like that.
So what's? It sounds like you're not really ready for anything. All this independent stuff. And people paying your rate, which I know your rate, and it's a pretty decent number.
It's a pretty decent number.
You're just, you could make. I'm telling you probably could make more doing what you're doing now than the rookie or 1 or 2 year deal you had with WWE.
I will say this: I'm doing exceptionally well, and then even with merchandise. Because now I get 100% of it. I have to put the money down. But
and you can have a cameo now?
Dude, the cameo. My website, therudedudes.com. Been killing it with merchandise there. And like I said.
Are you doing a podcast or anything?
I'm going to get into that, but I figured I'd let you keep doing it for now. You got your show, the podcast.
I'm not saying you're going to take any of my real estate, but I could help you do one. I mean, we could help you do a podcast.
Yeah.
We could help produce it for you.
I wouldn't mind that. I could definitely use some help in that category for sure because I actually bought all the equipment. I got microphones and everything.
I could turn you over to Seth, and he could. I mean, man, can you imagine, Seth, the attraction we could get Matt Riddle?
Oh, it'd be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we could. It would be tight.
Do you get a percentage off of what the WWE still sells in your merch?
They do sell in merch. I get royalty checks.
Oh, there you go.
I still get royalty checks from WWE, and I know I get like less than 1% of my royalties. That's just the contract. At least mine. It was very low number. And
it's still a decent number.
I still get a crazy amount of money every quarter.
That's unreal.
You know what?
Which to me, I'm just like, holy crap! They're still selling like hundreds of $1,000s worth
Do you
of my
know
stuff.
that Hogan used to get his pay-per-view checks from Turner FedEx to him on the Saturday after the event, and he his final deal with Turner was an $850 show-up fee, $850,000 to show up. He got 100% of his merchandise and 50% of the rest of the boys' merchandise.
Wow.
And so one time we were working out on a Saturday, the Federal Express guy came down. This was like Halloween Havoc or Summer Slam at the beginning. It was one of his pay-per-views. And then he got a percentage on buy rate, like what the percentage of buy rate of people that bought the pay-per-view. And this one check, because he let me open it, this one check, $2.4 million for one pay-per-view. Can you imagine that?
Especially back then.
Riddle?
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine it. I mean, I'll say this. When I had that year with Randy and RK Bro, I looked at my bank account, and I was just checking it randomly. I was looking at my bank account because I was like, ooh, I wonder if I got any bonuses this year.
Right.
And it was the new year. It was 2022 going to 2023. And I'm not going to state the actual number, but
Why not, bitch? I mean, you're divorced.
Well,
it's divorced. Your old lady can't take half of it. She already did.
You never know. It's better not to let people know how much you have. Just like I could have came in here wearing a suit. I came in here wearing a Riddle G-T-shirt.
He was impressed by it, though. Like, he was impressed by how much money he made. That's great.
Was it like, wow, holy crap?
Let's just say I looked at my bank account. I was able to buy a $500,000 house cash.
Well, there you go.
Easy.
Nice.
Pay everything else.
And you're like, man, I hope this lasts for 22 years. I'm going to be rich as hell.
Well,
and then Dana bought WWF, and you're screwed.
Yeah, well, that did happen, within in a way. But at the same time, I probably made enough in WWE where I'm basically good.
Well, hold on. Now you got the permanent WWE rub, though, too. So all the money you're making now is from the rub that, from being branded by, such a superstar by them.
Yeah.
That's what we're running with right now, and that's a pretty damn good living.
You're always a former WWE champion. I mean, that's the deal.
And I think there's a big difference because I do a lot of these meet and greets and I do a lot of these shows. And I think the big difference between me and a lot of these other guys that were in WWE
is that you grind.
I grind.
Yeah.
Most of these guys show up, try to do the bare minimum with them, and I get it. They've been working for a while. Your bodies are beat up. But like me, I show up, I'll do the meet and greet for 3 hours. I'll go overtime because there's just that many people. Then I'll go out to the ring and have like a 15 to 20 minute banger doing superplexes and moves off the top rope and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
And I make sure every fan gets a fist bump and a bro.
Right, exactly. Every fan gets a fist bump and a bro.
Oh, your money back.
And you know what? Probably, I got to go to words real fast before we come back and end it with you, but probably, there's not that many independent promoters that can afford your rate. So amongst all of those guys, they talk, and the promoters are like, man, you guys got to bring, I brought Riddle in last week. We sold out the show.
Yep.
It's a business for them too. He's like, listen, we paid his rate. It was a little high. My God, the guy can work his ass off. He stayed for 3 hours signing autographs. I made $15,000 off of him.
I'll say this, and that's when I first got to the Indies, I had my rate, and my rate's pretty good. And I was like, this is too much. I feel like I'm trying, like, this isn't going to last. And then I started wrestling, and I saw how many people would show up for me. And I saw how many meet and greets people were selling at like $100, $140 a pop.
And the promoters are now, listen,
which I think is crazy to sell
Hold
that.
on. You're now in the business, you're drawing money. You're drawing money. Then the promoter, listen, you're booked solid because promoter one calls promoter two and said, man, I just made a killing off a Riddle. Pay his rate. It might be a little stiff, but bring that guy in, man. You know what? You'll make money. You'll draw. They call it draw. You'll draw with him.
I do draw, and that's the one thing. Like every show I do sells out.
Well, Bubba, I think he took one place from a brewery down the street to this minor league stadium now.
Yeah, well, no, we're all in. Listen, I got to go to words so we can wrap it up with Matt. Stand by. Matt Riddle in the studio.
Yeah.
He has publicly told Jake Paul, if you want to fight, I'll do it for free. Just let me keep my T-shirt money.
Yeah, I got my own website. Let me keep the merchandise. Speaking of website,
let's just throw that offer out there, though. You'll fake. You would fight Jake Paul for free. Just let me keep my merch.
I would fight Jake Paul for free just for the exposure, and I personally really enjoy fighting, and I think I would enjoy fighting Jake Paul. I think it just.
I'm just so glad that we always get you in a good mood because you really scare me that you could flip out at any time and hurt us all.
Well, this is the other thing too.
I'd have to shoot you.
I can't flip out. Yeah, I know. People. My roommate started doing jiu-jitsu with me, and I don't think he realized how good I was. and then I told him, I was like, hey, now you know, like, anytime I can just take anything I want. And then he goes, I have a gun. I will shoot you dead.
Matt Riddle,
like, you're right.
Matt Riddle tells his roommate, now you know how badass I am.
Yeah.
At any time I can take anything. And he says, I will shoot you.
Yeah.
That's the only way to get. That's the only way to control you is to shoot you.
Yeah, well, definitely the fear of getting shot definitely controls me. You know, it's probably why I don't talk negatively about the police, you know? there is a possibility. Hey, and, you know, go police, you know?
Okay, go police. There you go. All right, so give us your website where you're sending everybody.
TheRudeDudes.com. You know, that's where I sell some merch, some 8x10 and stuff like that. But I also brought some merchandise for the boys.
Sweet.
Some Rude Dudes.
So this is from
RudeDude.com. I got a King of Bros here.
I want a King of Bros.
You want a King of Bros? Yeah. Can we make this?
Let's see it.
Let's see if you make it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I didn't break anything.
No.
Got some more?
King of Bros.
I'm a hat guy, too. I love it.
Yeah, right here. This one right here, this is my girlfriend's hat. You know, the one I'm wearing. It's pretty stylish. It's yellow. If somebody's... Want that one?
My daughter.
There
Oh,
you
look
go.
at that.
Look at that.
There it is.
King of Bros is throwing stuff.
Yeah. Also, you know, I got the Bronly fans.
Who came up with that? That's awesome.
That's
genius.
That's hilarious.
And then I got a whole bag of it. And I got my own. We didn't get to talk about. I have my own strain of cannabis now.
Really?
You do.
So
where can people get that?
Riddle OG.
You can get it legally in California.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might find it other places, but that had nothing to do with
Now, what's
me.
it called though? For those going to California or in California?
Yeah, if you go to the Row House in San Bernardino, that's one of the dispensaries that carries it. I went and did a meet and greet. We probably sold about 5-6 pounds that like in 3 hours, just being there because like about 80 or 90 people showed up for the meet and greet, and the only way you could have me sign something and take a picture
is to buy some.
Buy an eighth, buy an ounce, buy a half. So, and I got the Riddle OG shirt.
Nice.
It is Riddle OG?
Riddle OG.
Riddle
Nice.
OG. I got number 2, number 4. I may or may not have samples for everyone. May or may not. But we'll get to that after.
What a bro.
What a bro.
But yeah, that's the thing. Things have been going well. That's why it's like even with the Jake
Bronly
Paul
fans.
fight,
I love it.
even with the Jake Paul fight, you know, hey, I wouldn't mind the payday, but I'm past paydays, bro. I'm here to
promote,
respect.
buddy. I can make money.
I'm here.
You can make money
blood,
just grinding. You know what I'm saying? Just grinding.
That's all I do, baby, is grind.
On the grind all the time.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, let's, because you're so close, every once in a while when you're in between bookings, come on in. Let's have you on the air, promote your brand, talk about what you're doing. Let's
Can we do a high spot in the parking lot or something?
We can definitely do a high spot in the parking lot.
I'm not paying his day rate.
Parking lot juice.
I'm not paying $4,600 just to have him, split me.
I do work down in Tampa quite a bit. I work for MLW, who actually has a working relationship with New Japan and AEW. And so I was down here, last weekend or maybe the weekend before?
Anytime you're down here, man, we'd love to have you on the air and promote your brand.
I would love
to. And help you sell tickets.
Yeah, I love to. The last show sold out. We've been killing it. So, but I think it'd still be great. I love coming on and hanging out with you guys. And the more we can do this, the better.
Can I just ask one more question before we go?
Yeah, right before we leave.
Matt, did you see any of Lummy's work in the ring that he's done the last few times?
I saw bits and pieces.
I saw
a GIF. I saw a GIF.
Got a lot to learn.
I'll say this. I think leaps and bounds from the last time we worked in the studio.
That's right. 100. I learned it. Yeah.
You know, Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's right.
You know?
Took a long time.
Not everybody's the King of Bros or Randy Orton. You know, some of us gotta work a little harder, and you know, and probably a lot less experience. You know, I don't think Lummy's getting in the ring 2 times a day. You know?
But Lummy can wrestle, but Lummy can wrestle like wrestle, and you know what you know it because you're in the business. But it's called big man style. Wrestling big man style is so easy. It's clotheslines, it's tackle bumps, it's scoop slams, it's second rope willies. It's that.
But didn't Lummy put the guy through a table and it didn't break?
Yeah. They didn't cut the table. They didn't cut the table too well.
They didn't score the table.
Yeah.
You got to score the table.
Also, it depends on how big the guy you're throwing to the table.
He was small.
Right.
He was a small guy.
Yeah, small guys. I'll tell you this. I never have a problem going through a table. I went through multiple tables in the last couple weeks. You know?
Again, just pay my rate, bro, and I'll go through a table.
You pay my rate. I will say this. Sometimes
I bet you the table is a Tic Tac add-on. I bet you that's an extra $3.50.
It really ought to be. I will say this: if I do,
you gotta have a menu. Day rate, $7,000, juice $500,
a la carte,
through a table $250, head chair shot, $375, juice $800.
Yeah, it really is. Death matches, there's definitely a higher rate. But I've also being back on the indies and stuff like that is I try to find the promotions that take care of me, also draw well, and I know everybody's leaving the table happy. And
you're drawing money.
And I've worked at other promotions where, hey, the show was fun, the fans were great. Probably not going to work there again. And I'm not going to mention names because that's not my, my agenda.
You just didn't have, you listen, it's all about how you jive with the promoter. The guy that you're walking at the end of the night into the office, and the guy that's paying you, the booker, the promoter. It's basically probably the vibe that you get from him as to whether you work or not. If a guy's appreciative, he's like, hey, Matt, you know what? Hell of a show tonight. God dang, man, you really work your ass off. Love to have you in a couple months. Here's your rate, and here's a little something extra for you.
And right there, here's your rate. If you are generous and nice and appreciative and you pay my rate, I'm over the moon. There's some people that kind of stiff me sometimes.
Now this is how this goes.
And then they treat me like a king. But then I'm like, dude, if you think so highly of me, why are you nickel and diming?
And do you sometimes get this, Matt? You're going back to get your payday, and the guy's like, well, Matt, we didn't draw that damn good. Looks like I'm gonna probably lose my ass. I'm gonna have to cut your day rate. I don't know if I can pay it.
I haven't had anybody do that. I've had people book me, then say, oh, that's a lot, and this is after they know the rate, oh, something came up, and then they'll pay me in installments. But I also know that's usually the case where they book multiple other talent and me, and they probably know
they're
I'm
just
the
not
most,
selling tickets.
Well, no, they sell out. I think it's just that I'm the most laid back. So even if you overbook a show and you go out of pocket,
that you might be the coolest of all the other stiff bastards.
And to be fair, if somebody's like, "Hey, I'm in a tight spot. Can I pay you over the next month or so?" I'm not going to tell them.
You're good with that.
Yeah, I'm like
First Baker Riddle will be able to take financing options, no problem.
I do take financing.
That all goes through Daniel Rose.
And I don't charge high interest.
No, hell no.
You might have to smoke me out or something like that.
Send me an eighth with that $1,800 paycheck, and we're doing good, my friend.
That's it, baby. That's it.
Hey, Matt, we appreciate you, my friend. Again, tell everybody your website where they can get the merch and the ones.
TheRudeDudes.com for any merchandise. Check me out on Instagram, Riddle Bro. Check me out on Twitter, the Super King of Bros. I'll be in Odessa, Texas this Saturday wrestling. I'm working for MLW, New Japan, AAA, Crash of Mexico,
and special needs birthday parties.
Dude, if you guys got a birthday party and you want the King of Bros there, hit me up.
And your son's in a wheelchair and you want him to go off the second rope on top of Matt Riddle, as long as you pay the day rate.
We can probably make it happen.
Matt will build a ramp where that guy goes and gives him the 1, 2, 3 clean. You pay the day rate, feed him, drink him, get him back to the airport with a nice hotel room, and you got yourself a deal.
Dude, the best deal. The best deal.
Matt, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bubba.
We will see you guys Monday. I got a bunch of taping to do today.